Alright, welcome everybody to the final episode of Pokemon Fire Red Out of Order. We have already defeated the Elite Four, earned all 8 gym badges, and made our way all the way out here to, I don't have the map anymore, do I? And made our way all the way out here to Seafoam Islands. You can see where I'm at the bottom of the map there. Usually you would get to Seafoam Islands coming from Fuchsia City to Cinnabar Island. But because I didn't want to deal with the legendary Pokemon that's in here, I took the long way around and actually came back up around Lavender Town, through Celadon City, Pewter City, Viridian City, Pallet Town, and then down to Cinnabar Island. So, what do we got in here? Well, Seafoam Islands is a optional-ish dungeon. And I'm coming in the back entrance, I think. Yeah, usually you'd come from Fuchsia City, so I'm coming in from the wrong side. I should be coming in from the other direction. This place is full of ice and water type Pokemon, which I am now a much higher level than. We actually finished this at a little bit under leveled for the Elite Four, but it's okay because I'm a Pokemon Master. Levels don't matter. They kind of do, but managed to get through there. Oh yeah, back in this game we didn't have the option to just talk to the water, and he asked if we wanted to surf. You had to actually go and okay, that wasn't me. I just got pushed by a slipstream. And now I'm not quite sure where I am. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so we got the Danger Fast current sign, which I think is actually on the bottom floor. Shelter is an incredible Pokemon in this game. It's, I think, the only Pokemon line that has access to Clamp, which effectively tells your opponent that they're not allowed to take a turn for several turns. It's the equivalent of the plant-type move, Wrap, which, again, I think only a couple of Pokemon get access to. Okay, I recognize those balls. Where am I going now? Okay, I think I may have just gone backwards. So this dungeon is 5 floors. It's got lots of ladders. It's got the current in the water, so if you go in the wrong part of the water, you'll just get swept totally away. Now, let's try going back down where I just was. Yeah, I actually need to hold on to my body slams. I need them for the paralysis chance. Well, I'm gonna swap garlic in here. Garlic really hasn't had a chance to shine much in this game. Okay, where am I going? I want to get down to those. Yeah, saving the PP for when things get hard. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get to the balls. Those balls are really important. You gotta go down there and knock them around a bit. Right, I found the balls. Okay. Who knows strength? Koji, do you not know? Mr. Fish knows strength. Ooh, I almost messed that one up. Whoop. Something is stopping us from playing golf. Oh look, it's a Navy SEAL. You know, I guarantee that that's somebody's persona. Their character is just a SEAL that's in the Navy. Okay, we got some garlic oysters or garlic clams here. So, Unarada, you mentioned in another stream a couple days ago that you will not touch sushi. You're scared of fish or something like that. But, okay, whoops. But meanwhile, like, I just do not care for mussels, for oysters or clams or anything like that. And like, I know my dad loves oysters, and he'll like, you know, talk about how good they are and stuff, and then I'll watch him just like slurp whole raw oysters, and I'm like, ugh, that's disgusting. I really wonder what it would... Ah, see, you gotta drop the rocks here in order to block the current. Otherwise, it forces you down. There we are. And we're gonna save. And this was the first legendary Pokemon I ever encountered. So imagine my surprise as a kid when I'm, swimming around here and all of a sudden I run into this bird. And I'm like, what the heck is that bird? And it's like, ooh, this is special. Yeah, raw oysters. It's actually really popular. Oh, jeez. I should have started with Koji. I think that's the way that they just prepare oysters. I think that's a lot of damage. I think they just sprinkle it with lemon juice and call it a day. I really wanted him to be paralyzed there. Paralysis not working. All right. Let's see if we can poison him. I don't really want Articuno to be poisoned because that's dangerous, but yeah, it only gives me about 3 turns to try to land an Ultra Ball on him, which I may have just got. First ball. All right. Out in the order of it. So these are supposed to appear. They're named after the order they're supposed to be encountered in. So generally, by the time that you encounter an Articuno, or you would encounter an Articuno in your normal route, in the intended route that Game Freak gave you, and then you would probably go up as while you were exploring and find Zapdos, and then finally you'd run into Moltres up on your way to Indigo Plateau. Okay, where are we going now? Let's see. Pewter, Cerulean, Lavender, Vermilion, Celadon. And yet, as a kid, I missed Zapdos because it never occurred to me to go surfing around the mountain. I'm going to do something a little bit silly here. I'm going to... I love Meow, but I'm going to put him away for now. And I'm going to pull out Mewtwo. Because I want him for this next part. Alright, so we've already beaten, if you take a look at the badges, we've already beaten Giovanni in Viridian City. And if you recall, when you beat him, he says something along the lines of, Team Rocket is disbanded forever and I'm leaving, and disappears. And yet, here we find a Team Rocket grunt, still guarding a poster. This is because we actually skipped this entire dungeon that's supposed to be required for the storyline. This is actually the dungeon that we should have done before doing Lavender Town. Oh, I never healed Mewtwo. Or Mewtwo. Yeah, raw oysters. You tell you what, man, when you come out here to visit me, we've got to introduce you to poke and sashimi and sushi. Oh no, we got Mewtwo in the party here. And I did not use the Master Ball yet. Unlike Pokemon Legends Z through A, where I keep on using Master Balls on, like, Vivians and Eevees and stuff, because it's so easy to accidentally switch Pokeballs in the middle of the throwing animation. In pretty much every other game, I hold on to the Master Ball forever, so I'm holding on to this Master Ball. Yeah, we're going to introduce you to sashimi that's very thinly sliced raw fish that you dip in some soy sauce. Hey, I found the first Nintendo Switch. There's that old Team Rocket music. I guess get another partner who hasn't had much time to shine in this game. Don't worry, I'll take care of your hospital bill if you get sick from the sashimi. And then the poke, oh my gosh. Like, this is so common out here that you can get pretty dang good poke in just about any grocery store. Like, I could literally go down to Foodland, which is the grocery store that's just, on the corner in town, and get a really, really mean bowl of spicy ahi poke. It's just ahi is a type of tuna, and so it's just finely chopped raw tuna with some spicy, like, chipotle mayonnaise sauce, and served cold on a bed of hot rice. And I'm in a weird place because I didn't grow up on poke. Like, I enjoy poke, but I didn't grow up on it, so I never see it as, like, a meal option. I kind of like it as a snack, but I can't just sit down and eat a whole bowl of poke. This guy guarding an empty room. Hey, I've got a secret key. Does it work here? No. No, it doesn't. And then sushi. Again, sushi we can get all over the place. We've even got a sushi fast food restaurant, if you believe that, called Genki Sushi. And there's different Genki Sushis in different locations have different, like, gimmicks. Some of them are actually the famous like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Assembly line style sushi, where, like, you'll sit down and there'll just be a little crack next to the table where a whole bunch of sushi will go by and you grab whichever ones look good. And then when they go to check you out, they look at the colored rings on your plate. So, like, the black plates are more expensive, the red plates, the green plates are pretty cheap, but the green plates might just be like rice balls and stuff. And so they'll charge you, 50 cents a green plate, $2 a black plate, stuff like that. We don't have one of those here. We've got a train system where when you put in your order for the sushi, it'll show up to your table on a little train. Okay, it doesn't seem like there's anything else I can do here. Oh, they've got the spinny floors. Well, I'm actually kind of mad at our local Genki Sushi because they used to have like iPads where you would order. You would just go in, sit at the table, and they'd have an iPad there, and you'd click on the different stuff you'd want, and they'd send you the food on the little train. But now, no, they got rid of the iPads. I guess maybe they started to wear out, and it was cheaper to make an app than to keep updating iPads. So now you have to go in and scan with the QR code and order off your phone, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. At least I don't have to download an app. My objection to using a QR code in order to get basic information, that's one of my big boomer takes. My old man yells at cloud thing. Even yesterday reminded me about it. I was hungry. I'm dieting right now. I'm doing pretty good on that. I've lost 10 pounds almost in about 2 weeks. Um, and yesterday I was at the grocery store picking up a couple of things to meal prep for next week. I was really hungry, so I checked my macro tracker and realized I had 101 calories available for the day without going over my calorie limit. So I thought I'd pick up a very small snack to eat while I drove. I ended up finding a little single serve thing. It was like a stick of mozzarella wrapped up in spicy pepperoni. It's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. That looks like about 100 calories to me. I picked the thing up and tried to read it, and there was no nutrition information, just a QR code. It says, scan the QR code for nutrition information. That's inconvenient. So instead of scanning the QR code on the back of the individually wrapped cheese stick, I pulled the entire box out and looked at the nutrition info on the back. And sure enough, it was 110 calories. Okay, cool. I'll stick that in my bag and I'll figure out the proper nutrition data later. It's got the whole thing on it. The problem is, I got home, I ate the thing on the way home. It was delicious. I got home and went to add it to my macro tracker, and the QR code didn't work. Like, oh great, you didn't put the information there, you put the QR code instead, and the QR code goes to a website that says coming soon. Like, coming soon, it's in my hand right now. It sounds like the solution there is to just not look at furry images. Where are we going? I still came out. I still came out under my calorie budget, which is good, and slightly over or exactly on my protein budget. Well, protein, I don't really have a budget. I've got a target. I'm trying to hit, a specific amount of protein trying to get at or above that. And I've been really consistent about getting lots of protein. But calories, carbs, fat, I'm trying to stay under a certain amount. And I've been pretty good about keeping calories under. I think one day so far this week. Where are we going? I think one day so far this week I've gotten my calories over budget. And only by like 50 calories or something. Okay, looks like this is the way out, or forward. What is this? Is this an elevator? Hey, I found an elevator. Imagine you want to go to work and you have to go through all that spinny stuff in order to get to an elevator. You know, whenever I look at these old games, I always think of StarCraft. And I know StarCraft and Pokemon are, not really related in any way, except that I played both of them excessively in the late 90s. But if you look at like the tiles in these games, yeah, let's give Mr. Fish a chance to shine. If you look at all the tiles in these games, like the layout of the map and stuff, I always look at them and think, I wonder if they actually just have like specific tiles programmed in and then used a map editor to place every tile. Almost like playing Minecraft where you can place each brick. They just, place each tile. And so you set up your table by placing corner tile, a bunch of sides, and then more corners at the bottom. Because I used to make a lot of like custom maps in Minecraft, and that's the way that you did it. You had tiles for all of the different items and terrain and buildings and stuff. And sometimes people get pretty creative. I actually love seeing what people do in Animal Crossing and Photopia, because you can see how with very limited resources, very limited items, they can just build the most amazing things. You've never played StarCraft? It's definitely worth a play. The original StarCraft is definitely worth a play, and I think that you can get it for free. Just because it's such a influential game. It had such a huge effect on every game that came after it. I don't recommend playing it in the competitive scene because that's just super sweaty. But the storyline is really, really fantastic. StarCraft 2 kind of fumbled it. Yeah, so the original StarCraft came out in like 96, about the same time that Pokemon came out. But it came out before Pokemon in the United States, I believe. I think the original Warcraft came out before StarCraft. I don't know where Warcraft 2 came in, though. It might have been a little bit later. But the story is fantastic. You can see a huge inspiration taken from several classic like horror and science fiction movies. It seems like it draws inspiration from Alien and The Thing and Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. In fact, there's 3 different species in Stranger in a Strange Land. The movie only ever focused on the humans and the bugs and turned the entire thing into a parody of itself. But the first chapter is actually what's the guy's name? John Rico, I think is his name. Blowing up these blue-skinned aliens that are only talked about that one time, but they sound an awful lot like the Protoss. Okay, so that boardroom has nothing. I need a key. Oh. And they even had to... It doesn't exactly draw inspiration from Toy Story, but they were in production at the same time, and StarCraft actually had to change the name of their alien bug species because of Toy Story. Because they were both using the name Zurg. If you remember Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear, his nemesis was Evil Emperor Zurg. And that was also the name of the bugs in StarCraft. But I guess an early promotional material for StarCraft had Zurg spelled Z-U-R-G, which is the same way that it was spelled in Toy Story. But I guess they noticed that Toy Story was coming out like just a couple months earlier or something, and that they were using Zurg, and they're like, oh shoot, we might get hit with a copyright thing. So they changed the name, and on the final release it was changed to Z-E-R-G. The concept of a Zurg rush comes from StarCraft, not from Toy Story. Oh, I'm all out of room for items? Oh no, whatever will I do? You're saying my guy's taking damage? How can you hate Toy Story? It had so many sequels and spin-offs and stuff. Yeah, seriously, time to throw TMs away. My inventory is full of TMs. I guess this is a direction I can go. I mean, it doesn't really do anything. All of them lead me back to that one item. Wait. Dang it, is this item the key that I need? It's a rare candy. Okay, at least a rare candy I can use. Here, Oscar, have a rare candy. Bottom one takes me the same place. This one those 3 all take me the same place. This is the only one that moves me forward. Speaking of StarCraft, I also loved I do not like MOBAs. Like, I don't know. Really fast paced, like speed and input based PvP games, I don't much care for. And MOBAs like League of Legends and Dota 2 are kind of the epitome of that. I think the original Dota was actually a mod for Warcraft, which is why they kind of feel the same as Warcraft and Starcraft and stuff. But I really liked Heroes of the Storm, which was Blizzard's MOBA. So for a while, in like the pretty much throughout the entire 2010s, at least the early part of the 2010s, like 2010, 2015, MOBAs were all the rage, and everybody wanted to get in on the action. Everyone was talking about League of Legends and Dota 2, and I didn't care for them. And a big part of that was because I didn't have any interest in the characters. A lot of them seemed like they were just created specifically for market appeal rather than for any kind of story or anything. But then Heroes of the Storm came out, and that was a MOBA that was based on Blizzard IPs and was full of characters that I knew that I actually had a vested interest in. So I could play with Sylvanas from... I keep hearing something behind me. I think it's my wife and kid. I could play as Sylvanas from Warcraft, or as Jim Raynor or Sarah Kerrigan from StarCraft. That's an HP up. That is not the item I need. I got pretty good with a couple of... Well, okay, I guess maybe one of the reasons I don't... I guess maybe one of the reasons the way that I deal with the sweaty inputs is to pick slow characters. I do this in fighting games a lot too. It's like, I know Bowser isn't a good character in Smash Brothers, but he's fun to play with. And he fits my playstyle, kind of slow and deliberate. So in Heroes of the Storm, pretty much my main character was ETC, who was ETC's Elite Tarn Chieftain. TM2, that's still not the lift key. Oh my gosh, where is this stupid key? Oh. That's stupid. I literally would have walked out of here without the key. But ETC, he was exactly the type of character I like to play, Elite Tarn Chieftain. So this is actually a band that, it was like Blizzard's in-studio rock band. And they had a song that I think was released on the back end of, or it's like a bonus feature in Warcraft 2. Called Power of the Horde. trying to find my way back through this maze again. And then they started, putting songs into different media. There's some StarCraft ones in StarCraft 2. There we go. In StarCraft 2, there's even an advertisement for their newest album. The thing is that they start off as level 60 Elite Tarn Chieftain and leveled up when World of Warcraft levels increased. So the joke in StarCraft 2 with their new album was that they were like level 4000 Elite Tarn Chieftain. They had leveled up that much. So this was a big Tarn, a big Minotaur rock star with, a couple of guitars on his back. And he was a great tank character. He could just like power slide into the middle of combat and do the traditional hoof stomp stun that Tarn's got as a racial ability in World of Warcraft. Do some crowd surfing type stuff. Just really fun to play. I like Tarns, I'll admit. Minotaurs, they're cute. I really wish Asterius in Hades, in the first Hades game, was romanceable, because there is such a blooming bromance between Zagreus and Asterius. Such a pity that, God, who is it, Theseus? Gets in the way as being such a cad. Oh, he opened the door. Okay, I'm going to create a quick save state here, because I'm going to want to go back to this later. How can you not see the beauty of our evil? Evil. Ooh, an Ekans. Hello, sneaky dude. The elevator noise sure is weird. Makes one think of a broken TV. Well, they were using, 8-bit sound at the time. They only had so much that they could do. It's really remarkable, actually, what they did manage to do on such little space. I mean, I once found an image file, a simple JPEG. It wasn't a big one or anything. And all the JPEG was a block of text that said, this is more data than the entire NES library. And I actually looked it up on a couple of different ROM sites, and it was true. The entire NES library is smaller in terms of memory than like one modern picture. If I took a screenshot right now, it would be larger than the entire NES library. And that's just mind-blowing to me. In Pokemon 2, Pokemon actually used, they pushed the cartridge to its limit. They loaded it up. They loaded it up with data to the point where, nothing else would fit. Elixir isn't going to do anything. I literally can't do anything here. I guess I can throw a nugget away. Now that I beat the Elite Four, I've got essentially infinite money. It got to the point, like, after they did their final checks and made sure everything was good on the cartridge, like, just before it was shipped into production, one of the programmers noticed that it had just enough space left on the cartridge for one Pokemon. And so last minute before it shipped, after Nintendo had already checked and approved it and said, okay, no more changes, then they slid Mew in those last couple bites. So it was never supposed to be accessible. It was just supposed to be there. And then the game itself didn't actually do very well initially. It was, a mid-level JRPG in Japan, and it wasn't beating out Final Fantasy Adventure or Dragon Quest or anything like that. In fact, it was released at the very end of the Game Boy life cycle. That's why this actually has a little bit of color support, is because it was officially a standard Game Boy game, but they added a few enhancements for the Game Boy Color, which I think was either already on the market or was about to be released. So, like, a game comes out when a system is being retired, that's not expected to do very well. That's why Shantae really struggled to get off the ground. The first game came out, like, right after Nintendo announced that they weren't gonna support the Game Boy Color anymore. Alright, we're gonna save here and refresh that save state. There we go. Alright, remember the guy that we beat and who disbanded Team Rocket and said that we'd never see him again? Well, here he is, meeting us for the very first time. So the original games, they didn't really do very well. There was one gaming magazine, I think it was Koro, that they really liked Pokemon and started featuring it in the first Pokemon manga, Pokemon Pocket Monsters. Pokemon Pocket Monsters was actually published in Koro about 3 or 4 months after the game released. Yes, here we go. Hey, Team Rocket, I got your Mewtwo. So in this game, in the original games, there wasn't actually really any link between Mewtwo and Team Rocket. That link, I believe, was created originally. You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was created in the anime or in the manga first. But thanks to the anime, Mewtwo is associated with Team Rocket. Okay, beat ya. What? This cannot be. Well, this is the last time we ever meet. Okay. I do have an escape rope. The anime movie. Well, Mewtwo first appeared in the anime, in the episode Battle of the Badge, which was where Ash earned his 8th gym badge. It's also the one with the famous image of Gary Oak holding 10 gym badges. He actually went in before Ash and got his butt handed to him by Mewtwo. Alright, we're taking a victory lap around the kitchen. Mom sleeps in the kitchen because I've got the only bedroom. I'm the only child and therefore I'm treated like a king. Alright. And so that is where we're going to end it. We have done everything there is to do in Pokemon Red, aside from complete the Pokedex, which honestly we can't do without a copy of Blue to trade with anyways. So, thank you for joining me. I hope that you guys had fun with the out of order game that I've just completed. If you are enjoying this kind of content, if you're on YouTube, make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, whatever, and check out my Twitch page too, where you can find me on twitch.tv/Alolan_professor. As always, Alola, and I'll smell you later.